My brother, did you know?
Yes, sir.
Did you know? In September, it's Valentine's Day because we just got a bouquet of roses. We got a dozen roses.
This guy. I was like, where is he going with this?
Because Derrick Rose has officially hung it up. He took his shoes. He took the roses, his own shoe. He tied the laces, swung it, and threw it up. And now they're hanging on the wire, saying that I'm officially done after 15 seasons. Some sources say 16. We'll stick with 15 seasons of an epic NBA career. In my opinion, an underrated NBA career. This man was a legend. This guy was much respect to everything that he did for the game. And this guy, and he was a pioneer. He broke territory and was the first to do some things. And what I really love about this is that this guy was the franchise player for his hometown right after coming out. Like, think about that, like, as a dream, right? Like, I get to play for my hometown, and I get to be the cornerstone of this epic franchise post MJ, that era. I get to revive this team. Like, that's pressure, obviously, but that's the dream, though. Just want to get your thoughts on that, man. What do you think? Are you ready to receive these roses?
I mean, that is the dream, right? Like, every kid growing up, you've got your favorite team, right? And not everybody's favorite team is in their hometown. So to have your favorite team be your hometown team and everything in the universe to align for them to get the number one overall pick. And so you get to be the number one overall pick, go to your hometown team. And then what's even crazier is what he did with that, right?
Right.
Because he became an MVP.
The youngest ever.
And not only did he become an MVP, right? I was about to say he became the youngest MVP ever. You think about that Chicago franchise, right? Pre-D Rose, that was not a destination franchise.
Nope.
Right? I mean, there were some people that came in and came through, but like nobody was checking for the Bulls back then. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no one stuck around. Like post MJ and pre Derrick Rose, I remember nothing.
You don't remember the Eddie Curry days? Come on now.
Who? No, I'm just like, no, I don't. Not like that.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. Nah, man, this guy, he really like revived this organization back from the dead, I'll say, post MJ, because like I said, I don't think anyone or many people remember pre D Rose and post MJ. It's just they were just missing. They were like, where's Waldo? Where are the Bulls? That's kind of what it was like.
So disrespectful.
I'm sorry. Like, that's what it was. But just some like key things, right? Like this guy, and this I think was the underrated part of it, what I was talking about earlier. Only a 3-time All-Star. I don't know why in my mind I thought Derrick Rose was like a much more than 3-time All-Star. He was like a 5, 6, 7-time All-Star. I think he truly he deserved it. He could have earned it. He was the East, maybe. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. So I think too, his career is weird because like it had different stages, right? So you had like the fast start, the early years, right, where he became an all-star, all-NBA, first team,
right,
youngest MVP, boom, right, and then you have the injury years. We'll just call it the injury years,
right,
and then you had the post-injury years, and so that's why I think even like it's hard when you dissect his career because it's like, well, how many opportunities did he really have? Because pre-injury, he was an all-star like every year. But then post-injury, he was not the same player, right? That he started out. So his actual opportunities and just kind of, that's why it's like, you hear like he played 15, 16 years, like, wow, that's a lot. But like when you really break down what happened in his career, like it's just one of those like big what ifs, right? And so like, yeah, he came in like gangbusters crazy. And then unfortunately was it the ACL and meniscus, like boom, boom, boom. And then next thing you know, it's like, okay, well, will he even play again? And then the fact that he not only didn't play again, he became and I don't want to disrespect him, like he became a really good team guy, right? Like he was on the team, but he also come in Minnesota, dropped 50. Like, that night with Minnesota when he dropped the 50, that's crazy, right? And you love to see it, right? And it doesn't mean the old D Rose is back, because the old D Rose was gone at that point, right? But it did mean that like we could still have greatness from this player in increments, right? In doses.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. Absolutely. Like, and that's like the thing where I feel like Derrick Rose has one of the most what if careers. If you think about it, he had these phases like, what if that initial injury didn't happen? Because after that, it was like he has like one of the, if I was to define a Derrick Rose career, like, and this is again not trying to be disrespectful, it's a very roller coaster career, right? A steep incline, then the injury, and then that decline, right? And then he comes back up again, post-injury, whatever, and then it's not the same. It just never was the same, and it just kept going up, down, and each time a little less up, a little more down. You mentioned to the point where I almost feel like he stopped loving the game. He kind of fell out of love for the game. But again, like that he knows that better than I do. Because again, like the toll that has to play on your mind and body going through that, especially being, a superstar, a mega star, to suddenly not being this role player per se, like that's gotta hurt. It's definitely gotta hurt. Yeah. Probably hurt more than the injuries hurt.
Yeah, for sure. My thing though is that like I think there was that lull period where things got a little dark for him. But I think what we were blessed with is to see him come out on the other side of that and still make a positive impact on the game. Like he, even to last season, I think the Knicks were like 24-11 with him down the stretch. Like he's a big reason why the Knicks were able to do what they're doing, even if he's not getting on the points on the court, scoring 25 points and dishing 7 assists a game. Like he doesn't need to be a locker room leader, to be a veteran resource, to be a guy who can help to keep a team focused and go try to accomplish their goals in the postseason. So I'm just glad that, like, because other players like Brandon Roy comes to mind, right? Like they've gotten hit with the injuries and not bounced back, right? There's so many more stories of people getting hit with the injuries, careers ending, and then that's this, like, they're off to the basketball world. And I think what's beautiful for me about this scenario is that he got to leave on his own terms.
Yes.
And the game that he loves. And I mean, he, even in his note, right? It said, it was a note. It said, to my first love, right? Like, which is basketball.
Yes.
So
yes.
I'm so glad he got to, like, go out on his own terms and decide, and that he overcame all of those injuries and RBA'd his way to a long, prosperous career.
Absolutely, man. 100% RBA. And speaking of RBA, what are some RBA moments that come to your mind initially when you think of Derrick Rose? Some of those amazing performances that we have been blessed to see at any point, especially for me, was the early days.
So, I mean, there's just so many of them that I wasn't even thinking about performances. Like, as I was reflecting and thinking about what we were talking about, like, for me, one that I think of as funny and one I think of as sad, right? So, like, there's when he made that game-winning shot, I think it was against Braun in Cleveland, and his teammates held him up, and he had that deadpan, like
yes.
That look, that look was the I'm him before I'm him was a thing.
Correct.
Right?
Facts. 100%. 100%.
And then the other thing that's more sad is, like, there was that, like, documentary behind the scenes. I forget exactly what it was, when he got the phone call that he was getting traded from his hometown team. And that whole situation, like, you could just tell not only how much he loved the game of basketball, because it's not like he wasn't going to get to play basketball again, but, like, that was my hometown team. Like, and they're,
it broke him. It broke him.
It was and that's the side of athletes that we don't get to see, right? And the love that they have for the organization that they're with, just for that organization to say, we don't need your services anymore. And, like,
they're not,
that part was tough. Those are a couple of the, short memories I got.
And that's the reality of it, right? Like, they're not loyal. Whereas some players in today's game are like, I don't need to be loyal. I don't. It's not something that's reciprocated. So why are you asking me to be loyal? Why are you asking me to take cuts for what?
Right.
So, and that's a whole other conversation. Like, two things come to mind when I think about Derrick Rose. I think another aspect was that initial Bulls team, right, with Joakim Noah, Carlos Boozer, I think Nate Robinson. Who else? They had Kirk Heinrich. That team, and then they had this other guy on there who we talk about today is Jimmy Buckets. Jimmy Butler was on that team. And I think like having Derrick Rose, like he learned what a superstar is and all that, kind of got a great way to learn from him. And he was one of those type of veteran leaders, quiet, goes about his business, handles business, which I think helped Jimmy really build that foundation of how he's going to go off for the rest of his career, kind of building off of that. So there's that. And then the other part was like, so the Bron game winner was epic, that face he had at the end. There was another one for me. But just to follow up the Bron one, I gotta give the asterisk here, because the following game, Bron hit a game winner on him from the corner. It was the following game. And that's what that battle was beautiful to watch between them two.
It was.
But the one that really stood, one of the moments that stands out to me is, bro, as a point guard, this guy was dunking on your favorite centers like they were nothing, like they were children. But this is not a center. He was dunking on another guy, and this is one of his highlight moments, which I think Goran Dragic, he had this two-handed flush dunk on him, and Goran made the mistake to go up and try to contest, and there's like a picture, a still, and Goran's like I think like this, and he's just yamming on him two hands. But with the ease that he did it with, and the way he was getting up there was just crazy. I remember after that dunk, like he suddenly like appeared on the map as like this epic dunker, because he was just dunking on anyone and everyone before, like, you know, before Russell Westbrook, before all those guys. He was one of those youngins, those point guards who had a bounce, and he was fearless in the paint. And one of my most favorite qualities or athletic qualities of Derrick Rose was his ability to contort his body mid-jump and figure out how to get this layup to go in. I've never seen a guy been able to do that since that point, who can jump so high, contort his body, and still get this clean layup somehow. It's incredible. It's incredible. And even to this day, I actually teach some of the kids that I train, I show them Derrick Rose floater videos. He was the master floater with that floater game over bigs in the paint. Like, it was crazy. So those are my takeaways. That's how he influenced me in my game. So much respect to Derrick Rose from me. Yeah, for sure. So anything else on Derrick Rose, man? Want to give him his flowers?
Let's give him all the roses, all the flowers. Congrats on the career. Congrats on retirement, and best wishes and all you're about to do next, because the next chapter, the rest of your life is right there.
Exactly. So much respect and ditto. Till next time, Think RBA. Peace.